Good afternoon, everyone. We're at the October library meeting, and we will start off on the agenda with the meeting minutes from last month. I took a brief look. I wasn't here, unfortunately, but are there any suggestions for changes or additions? If not, we'll just go ahead and approve and move on. All right. Library Director's Report. Mary Lou.
Thank you very much. I have the complete report with all the details that was sent out to the committee if you have any questions about anything in particular, but I did pull out a number of items that I wanted to address specifically that are important updates. So I'll go through the town branch. We have been granted an extension over at the Newburgh Mall, so we'll now be there till December 31st. And we're still looking at other options of where to locate. If the opportunity to be in that space, the mall proper in another location is still on the table, then we'll entertain that. If not, we're going to be looking with some real estate agents at some additional spaces that might be available in town, but the commitment is definitely to keep a town presence. Construction aid update and ribbon cutting. Our 2 rooms, the Local History Resource Center and the Tech Hub, are almost at completion. They should be done by the end of this month, the beginning of next month. We're hoping for ribbon cutting in November, the second week, the week of the 14th. So as we get closer, I will let you know when we're planning on doing that. We've got some last-minute tweaks and some carpet repair and some things that need to happen. The technology has to go up on the wall, so we're working on that. And we're very pleased with the space. We should get the first round, the 90% of the funding by next month. So that'll be helpful to put that back in our coffers. And that's the New York State construction aid funding. The CFA grant status, that's our Consolidated Funding Act. That is to create a year-long technology training program utilizing these new spaces that I mentioned. And we are working in that direction. We're looking right now at a January start date on that, January 2023. The cafe closed down during COVID, so we are now finally getting to the point where we're reopening that. Our target date is October 24th. We have 2 part-time people hired to manage the morning hours and the evening hours, so we're excited to get that back in the swing. Have coffee and cookies at 3 o'clock. Let's see, September is always library card sign-up month across the country with all of the libraries through the American Library Association. And it coincides with the start of school, of course. We were really pleased that this past September, we were able to have 315 new library card registrants. And we had a little contest going between staff, and so we had our top 3 folks. But I always maintain that as a technically small organization, small business in town, to have 315 new customers in 1 month is a real sign of success. So we also credit the school district with really helping us to beef up this with the scholars in the classroom and also with the parents at the various meetings. So that was very exciting. We did have a voter registration day event. That's a national event now across all the states, and it's not only with libraries, it's any organization that wants to take part. And it's basically civics education. It's letting people know, what the dates are, what is an absentee ballot, what if I have a felony on my record, how, can I vote, can't I vote? It's a really great educational effort. And so we sponsored that here. We were able to get a $2,500 grant to run the program. We had a breakfast with local organizations and a toolkit that has been prepared by the voter registration folks that we were able to hand out, and then we had an evening dinner celebration, basically just, getting people interested in participatory government. So that was very successful. We were really pleased with that. And I do have a proposal for disposal of some obsolete equipment that I'm hoping we can get approved. We have some old microfiche machines and some chairs that are really taking up a lot of space. I'm hoping we can get that taken care of.
Mr. McCoy, do we have to vote on these items to get sent to the board, or do we just submit these?
I mean, normally those get sent over to finance and then they would come through finance. So, but yeah, I'll make sure that these get onto the next resolution for the next board meeting to get these declared obsolete.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And let's see, the last item I had was a proposed staff development day for Friday, December 2nd. Normally, we do those from like 9 to 1, and then we work the rest of the day. We were going to see if we could do this from 1 to 5 and just close from 1 to 5, and then people can just go home from there. But we always use that as a staff training session. We're taking suggestions right now on different topics, and so I can let the committee know what the staff is interested in. But I know Narcan training is part of that, and active shooter training was another part of that. And we try to fill that time period with really valuable stuff as well as team building. So I was looking if we can get if the committee would approve that, we can start that planning and let the staff know that that day would be available. We let the community know that we're closed from 1 to 5 on that day.
Mr. McCoy, does the committee have to vote on that to get it sent to the board?
Yeah, this would need full board approval, just like always.
Okay. Any questions on this? All right, so we'll vote for the agreement that it goes to the full board. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Those were the highlights. I didn't know if there were any questions or comments on the report itself. There's just been a lot happening. We're really excited about a lot of the programs, especially the collaborations, not only with the school district, but a lot of community organizations, and being involved in the discussion and finding out what people need and being able to supply them with either space or help with setting up a program or additional contacts they might want to consider. So, we look at the library as a catalyst, and, we share information, we connect people, and we provide places for people to gather. So we're continuing to do that, and it's been a pretty successful September.
I have a question on the town branch. So the lease ended in October, I believe?
Yeah, we're actually on a month-to-month. It renews every July. But right now we're doing the month-to-month. We were initially told we had to vacate that current space on October 31st, and thankfully they were able to extend that. They have somebody else that they're looking for to occupy that location. So it's kind of dependent on, I guess, when they can move in. So the latest we've heard is December 31st. And we'd like to make a decision by the middle of November, just so that we can actually plan, because we have book orders and programs and staffing and everything. We can't just put things in a box and move them. It's a production.
Did they tell you when the casino itself would be open so that you would know whether the times would conflict? Are they going to be 24 hours?
I don't know that they're 24 hours. I know they're open very late. I don't have all the specifics with that, though. And the start date, the opening day keeps changing. So I don't know what it is. It was going to be in the summer, and then it's changed to the fall. Now it's sort of the end of the year. And I suspect that's why our lease has been extended through the end of the year.
And the monthly, or the programs that you have listed for September, what's the process to get on that list to do a program? So if someone wanted to do book signing or a teaching class, how does that happen? Is there a form that they have to fill out?
Actually, I always direct them to speak with our programming librarian, because, you know, he has a look at the whole month and the whole he actually plans 3 months in advance. And he tries to balance out the topics and the theme for a particular month. So yeah, you just contact our programming librarian, and he'll talk to you about what the process is, what your if somebody wants to do strictly Zoom, or they want to do in person, or they want to do a hybrid. You know, we'll arrange that for them. But it's all, and we do have a kind of a packed schedule, so we try to get people, on the agenda as early as possible. So they would just need to call the programming librarian.
Thank you.
Sure.
I do have a question about the town branch as well. Is it safe to say that at this point, is staying in the mall the preferred choice? Maybe, I mean, have we decided if the other end of the mall is acceptable or not?
Did you want to go ahead?
I think as Mary Lou has experienced over the last couple of months, there's a lot of different things that are coming from mall ownership and management. And I think we really need to get the input from the board, we need to get the input from the community, and we have to have choices in terms of what works best for the community. So we're in that exploration part. We also have legal working with them. So we really know that it's a desired thing. We hear from the community that they definitely want it. For those that live in the town and commute, we know that the town is booming right now. So we're also trying to make sure that we have, you know, that she can maintain. And maybe it's something different than what it looks like, but we need to kind of come to a resolution if we are, if we're not, so that she can plan and also propose something for the spring for the voters. So she's in the process of doing that and working with legal and trying to figure out what the next steps are.
And do the owners of the mall, I mean, obviously they want us out of where we're at, and I totally get that. But are they willing to work with us? I mean, or are they just going to, you know, stonewall us no matter what we want to do?
I don't think it's a stonewall. I just think this is you know, they have a business plan. They have different things that they want to see within the facility that they just purchased. I don't think that they're turning us away, but I don't know if they're an expensive venture at this point, and we have to make sure that fiscally we'll be able to maintain a spot there that makes sense for Mary Lou's budget as well as for the community at large. So that's why we need to make sure that we do have options and we can provide a service that's long-standing. I mean, we were at the mall for 10 years. It provided a good service. You can see from the circulation reports, it gets visited frequently. There's circulation there. We would hope to maintain it, but we have to do it in a fiscal, you know, in a fiscal way long-term.
When we were approached 10 years ago by the mall management, the mall was in severe debt, $32 million, I think, and they were looking for something to bring people into their space. And so they turned to the library, which was a great solution because that's what we do. We bring people weekly, daily, children, families, adults, and it was very successful for that period of time. You know, the challenge now is, at that time, it was move-in ready. We moved into a bookstore that had just left. So the shelving was there, the tables, you know, everything was all set. And now we would be looking at not only acquiring a new space, but renovation and a significant uptick in rent, because the mall has been extremely generous to us over the last 10 years. Providing a reduced rate, and, you know, because of who we are and the service we provide. But things have changed. 10 years was a long time ago. So we've got to look at what's best for the library community and our taxpayers. You know, what can we afford to pay for a space? So that's what we're using these next few months to explore. I'm all set unless there are any other questions.
I don't have any questions. All right, so we'll close this out, and we'll be meeting in November at some point, probably the first or second week of November. And by that time, we'll have more answers to these questions. Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you.